Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vase. Last minute, I happened to be chatting with Venzen over on Telegram, and he was nice enough to join me for this episode and keep me company. We'll get his thoughts as well as Bitcoin is approaching yearly lows. I know the year is only 2 weeks in, but hey, yearly lows it is. And let's discuss. Venzen, how you doing, man? How's Thailand treating you?
Hi there, Tone. I'm fine. Thailand's treating me well. We got monsoon season. Everything's good. The price is really strange, and we'll get into that. It's beginning of the year, and it's doing this. It's kind of disappointing, but it's an opportunity. Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I was gonna ask you what you think on the whole manipulation angle, and might be a very good discussion. But let's do a very quick screen share. Let's do some introductions. So once again, I find myself arguing. I mean, this is a side note. You know what? We'll do that after. Venzen, welcome to the show. This is Venzen Twitter. He's not very active on Twitter, but hey, man, 4,000 followers. That's pretty good.
It's okay, for hardly doing anything.
Right.
And, credit where credit is due, Tone. It's mostly due to exposure on your channel because I'm a guy that likes to keep quiet and to myself. I'm kind of a hermit in Thailand. Any exposure I get is only by your channel. And, you just mentioned manipulation. If we get to that discussion, I've got some thoughts. My thoughts change. What are your thoughts? Everyone likes this topic. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in 1 second. Once again, if you are on Venzen's Twitter, here's his website, tradecryptocurrencies.net. I really hope you post, some articles more often and stuff. That would be nice because, like I said, I knew of Venzen back when he was writing daily. He was doing what I'm doing right now with videos about the price of Bitcoin, but he was doing that daily writing for CCN while I was writing the same thing weekly for Cointelegraph and then Brave New Coin. I really, I mean, you don't have to do it daily, but it would be nice if you can just, throw once a week article out there again, man. Think about it.
You're right. I should, but I'm going to tell you honestly, Tone, this bear market has got me in a negative, it's got me demoralized, and it's not as if a bear market is bad for a trader. It's actually good because you can short and you can accumulate, but the mood has got me down. I don't feel like I can say much,
What's your YouTube channel, man? You had some old videos too.
It's cryptocurrency.
Same thing, right? Cryptocurrency.
Yeah. I had some videos. I've got you and me doing an interview in Thailand last year, and I've got some. I sort of thought it's a good idea if I start like a daily Bitcoin news thing, and it rose up and it faded. I'm very much with the thought that you had that. We guys need to. People are interested in the thoughts of analysts and of people involved in the space. I think I'm going to do some. If I go for a walk in the morning, I'm going to broadcast that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I started my career in Bitcoin price predictions and technical analysis in the bear market of 2014. I started in June of 2014. So I started in a bear market and it worked out okay. Well, maybe when you see the end of the bear market, you can then start it up again because I think your work was great. That's how I got to know you. And it's interesting that you said about, you're getting a lot of exposure because you're on my channel. And this makes me extra careful as to who I bring onto this channel. Like you guys don't understand that I can't just have random people on this channel because I almost instantly give them credibility. And I need to be very, very careful as to who comes on. And I've been chatting with a couple of guys offline, and I would like to interview them, but I don't have the time to do the proper due diligence. And I don't want it to be, another Ronnie Moas situation where, originally he came on my channel. I actually did not want, oh, you know what, let me not get into the details, but anyway,
yeah.
so I just have to be
Can I
very,
ask
very
you? Can
careful.
I ask you in a nutshell? Because I got such a bad feeling from. I watch all of your videos, and when I watched that Ronnie Moaz video, I got such a bad feeling going into it. I was like, I can't watch this. It's like I felt repulsed. What was the outcome? What was that all about?
Did you watch the first one, the first time I
Yeah,
interviewed
I
Ronnie?
did. I did.
Right.
I did actually. Yeah.
So, so look, Ronnie and I are not on, I mean, Ronnie has a big reputation on CNBC, and I initially brought him on my show so him and I can kind of debate because he writes these fundamental reports in the cryptocurrency space. And my goal was try to explain to him that everything other than Bitcoin is a terrible investment, and he disagrees, right? This
Sure.
is where Ronnie and I disagree. So him coming on
Sure.
my show the first time was just, for us to kind of debate that. And a lot of my subscribers ended up signing up for his, like a bunch of my subscribers signed up for,
Newsletter. Or,
right. I mean, they signed up with
yeah.
you as well, which I'm comfortable with. But a lot of them signed up with him, which worried me a little bit because, again, I don't agree with his views. And but people signed up with him, and one of the altcoins that he was promoting heavily, Dig, turned out to be a giant scam. Now, I knew that because that's what every altcoin does. It turns out to be a giant scam. And then people are like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'm like, no, you should have known. And
Yeah.
I thought that the lesson was learned. And that's why I brought Ronnie back to this show, in order to teach people a lesson that what happens when a prominent person from the traditional space gets into this space. And he admitted that he barely knew what crypto was when he started writing those reports and started recommending coins. And I thought that the lesson was learned. And then the next thing I know, 2 weeks later, he's doing the same thing with Tron or some other, again, another scam coin. And once again, he's arguing with everyone, including myself, that his latest 80-page report about Tron is not a scam. And I'm like, oh my God, you're going to get yourself in trouble like Dig again. Because the whole thing with
Yeah.
Dig was he was recommending it when it was 20 cents. It went to 20 cents.
Yeah.
He was talking about it, making everybody retire. And now it's less than a penny.
Oh my God. What was that kind of apologetic tone that he took? He was all kind of like, I'm sorry about something when in the last interview, the second one you did. What was,
Well,
did
that
he
was it,
lose
right?
client
Because
funds or was that about Dig?
that was about Dig. So basically,
Mm.
I do want to get to the price because before all of my followers kill me, we have 800 people watching. But
Yeah, we got price action. Yeah.
yeah, now you know what? Let's see. I'll just do it really brief.
Let's go there. Let's go there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, let's just go to the price. Let's just go to the price. That's fine. But hey, this is Venzen's work, his Twitter, his website, his old articles, which I do recommend people read. Not all of them. There's way too many. It's kind of like, please go watch all my old videos. Impossible. And his old YouTube channel. Check out a couple of videos. Dude, like as a geologist, I loved it when you were talking about solar flares and how it can affect the global mining sphere. Like I found that interesting, man. But I know a lot of people think
it's just explorations. We gotta learn and find out.
Hey, Venzen, so I've been too busy. Have you gotten a chance to put any of the market cap stuff through your TA filters?
The market cap stuff, no. And I'm relying on Willy Woo to give us the blockchain info, because we also know that's changing with Liquid and it's changing. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to make of volume. I don't know what to make even of the price action. I'm Tone, to report to you honestly at this time, the beginning of this year, 2019, I'm confused, man. I don't know how to call this market. What are you seeing? What's your
to be
view?
honest, like I'm not confused. I'm just it's not that I'm confused. It's just that with the current 1 second.
While you gather your thoughts and your charts there, I'm confused because I operate on signals. I operate on the largest signal. So if the 1 week chart is bearish as it is, then I say, well, the trend is down. Then if we go down to the 1 day chart and it's bearish, then that's also down. So you can take a 4-hour signal to the downside, but we're getting mixed signals now. 4 hour, 1 hour, 15-minute, and this is my confusion. I don't know if this is going lower or if it's rearing to go higher. That's my confusion, honestly.
So what I was going to say was I'm not confused, and because I am normally a higher level trader. I use daily charts, I use weekly charts. It's not that I'm confused, but just constantly watching these multi-$100 swings to the upside, followed by multi-$100 swing. Like these are single hour. These are 4-hour candles. Because if I put the hour candles on, it just won't fit on the screen. So seeing these 4-hour candles, and the thing is, I don't see them, right? It's one thing if I was in front of the market, but waking up in the morning to this, after waking up in the morning yesterday to this, right? It really makes you feel that Bitcoin is no different than some penny stock shitcoin. And you would think that the market cap of Bitcoin would be able to absorb this. And my biggest, optimism for Liquid was that it would eliminate this, when in fact it's more prevalent now than it was 2 years ago.
Than before, yesterday, exactly during that spike up that you're pointing out, I was in a conference call with a client, one of my subscribers, and we were talking, and he said to me, "Oh, there's a 15-minute buy signal. According to the moving averages method we use," he said, "there's a 15-minute buy signal." I said, well, let's just complete what we're talking about, and then we'll look at that. Within 5 minutes, it had moved $100 or $200 to the upside. And you're like, how the hell, what must I do? Because all of the previous 5 days, it was like, ignore those signals. They're not going anywhere. Yeah, it's unpredictable.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, so I got an interesting comment that says, Tone, no one is using Liquid yet. You can't blame that. No, I'm not blaming Liquid. I'm just saying that...
Yeah, we don't blame them.
We're not blaming Liquid. We're just saying this is the thing that Liquid was supposed to solve. And why aren't more exchanges using Liquid? Because it would provide more easy transferable liquidity to avoid this. Unless exchanges unless it's kind of like the whole mining disaster back in 2017. All the miners agree to SegWit with no intention of actually wanting SegWit, right? So did all of these exchanges agree to using Liquid with no intention of using Liquid because this is what they want to see in order to make more money?
Yeah, we don't know, because there's a lot of USD Tether, Tether exchanging wallets. I don't know. I don't watch that, but my subscribers report to me, a million Tether just transferred to Bitfinex, or a million Tether just went to BitMEX. And then you also hear these reports about Tether being printed. Was it 30 million yesterday? Vast amounts, when they shouldn't be printing it. They shouldn't be printing it. It should be a set reserve.
No, they actually should be printing it if more people want to hold it, because here's how it's supposed to work, right? So the way it's supposed to work is Bitfinex owns Tether. So Bitfinex always has banking issues. And so Bitfinex, whenever it has a fair amount of US dollars, they go and create Tether. Let's say Bitcoin, let's say, what do you call them? Bitfinex has $100 million sitting around, and we'll talk about why that is. So they go and create $100 million worth of Tether, right? And now they're holding Tether. So what happens is when people sell their Bitcoin on Bitfinex and they want to move to another exchange, they sell Bitcoin back to Bitfinex for Tether, and then they move the Tether out of Bitfinex to another exchange. So slowly over time, Bitfinex starts to run out of Tether. So then Bitfinex has to go.
It's almost as if Bitfinex is the supplier of Tether. That's where it comes from.
Yes.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Right. Bitfinex is a supplier of Tether. So the only company that can create Tether is Bitfinex.
Yeah.
So
right.
so whenever,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So if everyone starts withdrawing, I mean, you can move your Bitcoin out of Bitfinex, or you can move the Tether out of Bitfinex. But when you're moving the Tether out of Bitfinex, then Bitfinex starts to run out of Tether.
Right. And in an age, and we live in that age where people are into Tron and into EOS and into Ethereum, and the people are into these altcoins. They've not lost price. They've not lost credibility. It's better to move the Tether than the coin itself, right? Because you can get it cheaper somewhere else than Bitfinex.
Yeah, and someone is asking us, what is Liquid? Liquid is a Bitcoin side chain that is supposed to make it easier to share Bitcoin liquidity between companies. So basically, imagine if someone wants to ramp up the price on, say, Bitstamp and wants to blow through the order book. Bitstamp should have a much easier time sourcing liquidity from other exchanges to prevent that. But it doesn't look like that's happening at all. In fact, short-term volatility has been rising like crazy lately. Now, I will say that this is where I wish I had more time, because and this is why I said earlier that if I have anyone on this channel, I like automatically give them credibility. I mean, someone that has been watching my videos for a while, and this person is attending the Las Vegas workshop. He started a YouTube channel, and one of his first videos was talking about predicting these moves in a way by looking at Bitmax and seeing how the contracts get skewed, and all of a sudden, boom, here comes the spike to wipe out the leverage side. And it seemed fairly reasonable, but again, I really want to watch more of his videos. I want to make sure this is somewhat credible. So I just have to be careful about who I bring onto this channel. It's like, Ugly Old Goat, Tyler Jenks, you, Willy Woo. I had Murad on. So I do bring on people that I find to be, credible, but it takes time. It takes a little bit of trust, because, I mean, it took me 4 years to get this reputation, and I'm sure as hell aren't going to ruin it by having random people on this channel like that. So, but there are some people.
You gotta tone. I mean, as one of the guys that followed you since you made your public appearance, when you first appeared on the World Crypto Network, talking alongside guys like Bishop and so on, you spoke with good sense, and then you find that with time, anybody who understands that there is a traditional market analysis, not just crypto analysis, the crypto sphere, in the troll box, they say, oh, there's a buy wall, there's a sell wall, and it's nonsensical. When you find a guy that can speak in traditional terms about what's happening in a modern market, that's where you got your credibility, and that's why a trader who already had a method would listen, like me, would listen to you to temper my analysis, to say, well, what is Tone saying? Because that's important. And when you brought your time indicator public, that was even a bigger benefit because now we got to, um, this makes sense. It's not only about the height and the distance that price travels, which Elliott Wave tends to focus on, but there's a time component. What's your TI saying about this? Is there anything
Right.
significant?
Well,
Because
let's go
I'm
through it.
confused.
Yeah, let's go through it. I mean, here is the weekly chart. The TI on a weekly chart was giving us bullish signals um, as of the end of last year after the big bounce. I mean, we all agree that was a very strong bounce on a single weekly candle, perfectly bouncing off the 200-week moving average. And I really thought that we can sustain this all the way to 5,000. And so did you, I believe.
Yeah. I already started thinking 6,000 is next.
Right.
That was my thought. Yeah.
And the TI gave you two buying signals, one the week of December 24th, and one the week of January 7th. And they were like very bad if you took that trade. I mean, it's no indicator is perfect.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and right now, it looks really, really bad. The indicator is back to flipping to being neutral. According to the indicator, you should be completely neutral on a weekly scale. And right now, we're sitting in a very vulnerable position where technically we still have a higher low, and you want that higher low to set up a potential upswing. But this higher low is so close to the ultimate low of the bear market that if we go any lower, we're gonna bust right through it and go significantly lower, because this 200-week moving average is slightly rising, and and next week, which starts in about 8 hours, next week we're only going to be about what, $250 away from the 200-week moving average again. And if we touch this moving average again, I expect a full out break of that moving average.
I think so. We're in a 1 week chart here, and I'm a moving average guy. That's my main kind of method. And what we tend to see, I can report to you, is that if price will come to a major moving average, I believe that the orange line you got there is the 200-week moving average, right?
Mm-hmm.
So price closes at it, opens at it, and moves up. So your expectation, according to the historical behavior of price in terms of the moving averages, is that it should go and close it should now return to the higher moving average. I think the one you got there is the 50, close to 5,000, right?
Well, the purple one is actually the 30. The blue is the 50.
Oh, the blue is the 50.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away my method here, but there's a 100 MA also in there, and then if you go to the 1 day chart, it's as if okay. For now, let's stick with the you see up there.
Well,
you see 5,000.
The purple
you would
one,
expect that.
Yeah, the purple one is actually the 128, which is
Doesn't
close
matter.
to
It's equivalent to the 100.
Yeah.
It's price doesn't just cross moving averages in succession. Like it's going to go through this one, the next one. It goes to one, then it returns to the previous one, then it comes back. Anyone can go and look in the chart and see that.
Right.
The fact that it bounced from the 200-week moving average, you would expect to move higher. The fact that it doesn't, I don't know whether that means we should be patient or whether that is really bullish. I mean, I said bullish. I don't know whether that is really bearish. It's like, oh my God, price doesn't even return to the previous moving average. That's unusual.
So let me give people some very bad news. I don't know if they want to hear it or not. Like, oh boy. So here's the thing. You agree that of all the moving averages, the 200 and the 50 are the most critically across the higher amount of traders.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in reality, what this is supposed to do is now the price, because we've now been stuck between the 50 and the 200 since July, after a perfect rejection. Sorry, we've been stuck under the 50. We got rejected by the 50 in July and never
Yeah.
made it back to the 50. Made it straight to the 200 and bounced off of it strong. There is a high probability that Bitcoin will get stuck between the 50 and the 200 into the crossover. And that crossover may not come till the end of this year.
This
And
is the
then,
thing.
and then it's supposed to crash. Like the worst possible thing. Like if Bitcoin is gonna crash down to 1,000, you want that to happen like in a couple of months, because the other option is we're gonna get bounced around between 6,000 and 3,000 into 2020, and then at the crossover
And
of the
then,
and then at the death cross, you're gonna fall 50 or 60% again. And then you got to get out of that hole.
yeah, yeah, because it's not going to just bounce and rejuvenate. It's going to stay down there for maybe a year. If it took this long to get there, it will take half the period to move up again.
And
This
here
is the prospect. I agree. I agree.
and here is the thing though, right? Like here is how like more and more bearish scenarios get into my head. Let me show you. So yesterday or like 2 days ago, I did an interview with FUD TV. Okay. I had no idea what FUD TV was until I did the interview. So here's the interview. I don't know if you saw it, Venzen.
No, I did not. I did not.
So so I did an interview with FUD TV. I had absolutely no idea what it was because I don't really have time to watch other people's YouTube channels or anything like that. So the
Sure,
title of the video is Ethereum to Zero, Grin and Beam to Zero. It's basically me, half of this video, me explaining why shitcoins are shitcoins. And the interesting thing was when this hit Twitter, when I go to, I mean, I don't retweet much, but so so here's the one that I retweeted, right? But again, I wasn't familiar with FUD TV until I did the interview, so I didn't know what that channel was about. But when I click on the FUD TV Twitter handle, what I see is this. Wait, what did I see? I guess they tweet a lot. Let me get to my, here. Watch, no, not this one. Man. Oh, wait, that's Gen 9th. Okay. So it must have been around here. Or maybe they didn't retweet it. Hold on. Oh, I should have been more prepared. I didn't really expect to talk about this. I need to go to this Twitter handle. Tron Chat.
What was, yeah, oh,
Here.
Tron Chat. Well, what was the, yeah, go ahead.
So here,
I'm going to disappear from view for a minute. I'm listening.
Okay. So it says right here, watch our founder, Elliot Wainman, chat with Tone Vase about Ethereum going to zero. And I saw this tweet and I'm like, and I see the Tron logo, which I know is a shitcoin and a scam coin. And it says, watch our founder, Elliot, do the interview. So I'm like, wait a minute. So I got interviewed by a founder of Tron Chat. What the hell is Tron Chat? Tron Chat is some kind of a platform, some kind of a messaging app on top of the Tron, blockchain, or if Tron is even a blockchain. I have no idea if it is or not, because I don't know if it's POS or not. I haven't had time to look into it. I just know that Tron is an insecure database that you shouldn't build anything on. So so the moment I saw that, and I'm like, wait a minute. So let's look at this interview. And I look at how many comments there are. There are 246 comments in this interview. And I would say 230 of them think I am an idiot that knows nothing about the crypto space, because every one of the followers of this channel, which properly named FUD TV, has, you know, a shitcoin they believe in. Look, this dude is clueless. Tone is a supporter of centralization in traditional markets. Let me see here. I don't see his position as important. Tone Vase does nothing positive for the crypto ecosystem. No, every single comment. I literally can't stomach Bitcoin maximalists. Like every Tone equals real FUD. Like that's a lot of comments. That's basically, and that's a decent amount of views. So this tells me that the bear market is not even close to ending. Close. Like, this scares the shit out of me that no one has learned their lesson of believing in Paycoin and Aurora Coin and BitConnect and God knows what else. Oh, you're muted, Venzen. I can't hear you. Nope, still can't hear you. There we go.
This might work, but it's going to echo on us. I'll try and rejuvenate the previous. Is that better?
Yeah, and look, Tone, you made me miss out on the altcoin run.
Tone, and in your own channel, you know, trolls calling you a statist, you know. These are exactly as you say, these negative comments, these comments that the very guy that's trying to tell us, beware. You know, you're not saying to them you're idiots. You're saying to them, people beware, and the very audience, same audience is saying you're an enemy. You're an enemy of the altcoin. You're an enemy of this thing that's going to make us rich. I find it really surprising. You know, even in my amongst my subscribers, I have a lot of people who are saying, "Well, I'm not trading Ethereum for Ethereum. I'm trading it for Bitcoin. I'm not trading Tron altcoins for their own sake. I'm doing it for BTC profits." And then you kind of point out, well, how much do they move, and how much does BTC move proportionally? You know, at the same time, we live in the altcoin age, and until it ends, Bitcoin cannot go up because the money is being divested. You agree?
Yeah. No, like as long as like this, as long as people are watching, like man, like after I went through these comments, I'm like, holy shit, Bitcoin's going to under 1,000. Like, it has to, because it's the only.
I can understand. I can understand if you do it out of some kind of ego reaction, but Toad, I can verify for you, and 100,000 people out there can verify for you that you're not an egomaniac, right? You're not analyzing price because you want to be right. You're analyzing price according to sound principles and a method. And the technical fundamentals of Bitcoin, as opposed to its clones, is very clear. That's not a mystery. It's not like we're missing something that some other opportunists are seeing. It's very clear that eventually everything must revert to Bitcoin, the original blockchain, the original innovation, when it can do whatever all these altcoins claim to do via its layer 2 and sides.
Yeah, and my view on it is, like, until all of these shit coins and all of these people lose all of their money, like, we're not gonna bottom. This is fundamental analysis, guys. That's fundamental analysis. Fundamentally, Ethereum and Tron and Cardano and EOS, fundamentally, they're broken. they were always broken fundamentally. And until the fundamentally broken side of investment destroys your wealth, Bitcoin can't bottom. Oh, I think Venzen's frozen, unfortunately. Anyway, let's get back to the price action. So fundamentally, the crypto space is in serious trouble. As long as people believe in, trash and vaporware, the overall crypto bear market will stay with us. And every time a shitcoin dies, like a Paycoin, like Ethereum Classic gets 51% attacked, Paycoin rise. What's that other one that's the scammiest of them all? TPay, Token Pay runs another scam. Litecoin buys another piece of a bank. Like as long as these like scammy and very bad economic things keep happening in the crypto space, we're gonna be in this bear market longer than you can expect. So thank God I sold some Bitcoin, like the conference Bitcoin payments this weekend, like before the big drop, to pay for the expenses of the conference next week. I mean, I was trying to hold out for the rebound to 5K to sell it, but I had no choice. I had to sell it this weekend because I didn't want to deal with this big drop last minute on me, and I had to make sure that bills get paid for the conference. So anyway, so that's the weekly chart. Let me see if I can bring Venzen back. What's going on? Huh. That's weird. That's weird. Hey, Venzen, I'm not sure what's going on. If you hear me, you may want to exit Zoom and try to come back in. All right, let's go to the daily chart. So the daily chart is once again closing below this blue line. It closed below the blue line back in January. Hey, you're back. Hey, man. You're currently muted. You're unmuted. I'm not sure what's going on. Am I frozen now? Is it my problem? I don't think so. I don't hear you, Venzen. But hang out there with us. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. This is really weird. You're muted. I can unmute you. There we go. Nope, that didn't work. Unmute. I don't know what's going on, man. I hope I'm not frozen. But I'll keep going. I see you muted inside Zoom. But I don't have your audio. Oh, here we go.
Now I'm here, Tone. I dropped on, dropped off, came back in. All right. I'm not sure where you lost me, but carry on with your thought. We'll just carry on where you are.
So let's get back to the technicals here. So here's what I'm looking at. Here's the daily chart. So we bounced off of the ultimate yearly low, or the ultimate bear market low of 3150. Yeah. We went strong and were not able to cross the combination of the 50-day moving average, which has always been critical. The combination of 50-day moving average and the setup trend line of sequential. We then finally broke above that 50-day moving average, and I thought that was promising, except 4 days later, we crashed back below it. We then had a perfect rejection with the 50-day moving average yesterday, as far as the end of candle closes go. Now, here is the thing. After the big bounce to the upside, we fell and we established a higher low at 3,600 right here at candle close. We then busted slightly below that low and made a higher, a lower close. Now, to me, this was a big nail in the rebound of Bitcoin. The moment, even this candle here, like the moment you came back, to this blue line, like all hopes to 5,000, like almost disappeared. And this is where I said, shit.
Yeah,
There goes
yeah.
my.
Especially the close below. You see that you got that one red candle
Oh
really
yeah,
like
yeah, but that's the
penetrating.
thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like when this candle occurred, the moment we came back to the prior low, this was already anticipated.
Ah,
Right. So to
sure.
me, as long as I come back to the same support level, I am already anticipating a close below that level. Now, in this particular case, because we had to move quite far to close below that level, it was reasonable to then expect a little bit of a bounce. But this time around, we are closing below the critical support, and we're not closing below critical support after falling $500. Now we are closing below critical support after only falling $200.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
am,
below the moving average and below that
yeah.
setup trend line.
So at this
Both.
point, like any day now, I'm anticipating like a $500 crash to new lows.
Yeah, and then we have to ask the question: will it be a double bottom? You know, because it's expected that at the start of a sort of a bullish season, you would advance and then pull back and then push into the advance. You know, back to 5,000 or 6,000 or whatever. But in this case, it looks so pessimistic that you're like, it's more like the market is interested in getting back to 3,200 to the lows than it is in establishing a base so that it can push higher. I'm getting the same feeling. I'm not feeling optimistic here. I'm thinking that if we go back to December's lows, it's very easy for the market to peel below.
Yeah, so my question to you is this. You said, will we have a double bottom? And my answer is, I give it a 90% chance that we're not going to have a double bottom unless, and here's the question for you. If we fall to, let's say, 2950, do you consider 2950 versus 3150 a double bottom or a lower low?
Technically, it would be a double bottom. Let me just be like on the dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Technically, it's from 20,000. You know, when you go to 3,200 and then you decline to 2,950, it's really the same kind of price. It's technically a double bottom, but Tone, I don't think that bodes well for the future. It seems bearish. It doesn't seem like a double bottom. It seems like we might even go lower than the 2,500 that you and I discussed back last year in January, because you know, I'm just doing a time projection, and I'm doing every single previous correction did about 90%, so that makes it 2,900. But this one is bad. This one is full of anger and fury, man. There's a lot of pessimism acting, and I don't doubt for Bitcoin, but I doubt for the price. And I think the price can go lower than you and I anticipated. I think that what Tyler is talking about, 1,500, 1,000, is becoming more likely. And I'm not going to cry about that because it's an opportunity, but it's bad for the ecosystem.
Right. So the other way of looking at it is these now I'm on the 1 hour candles. These are 1 hour monster candles.
Very.
And I am like the I am the guy that screams manipulation the least. Can we agree on that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And and I am the guy that screams manipulation the least. And what I'm saying is this may or may not be manipulation. Yes, yell at me now, get it out of the way, scream at your computer. However, whoever is doing, I will concede that this is a coordinated, at this point, this is no longer a coincidence to me. At this point, this is either a single trader or a coordinated effort. Now, the only way you can convince me that it's manipulation is if you convince me that the exchange is involved. As long as this is free thinking people with a lot of money, they may be moving the market, and you can call them manipulators, but I call them people with a lot of money that are bored. Okay. And I am okay with that. However, until the people responsible for this, whether it's malicious, whether it's smart trading, stupid trading, coordinated trading, until the people or person responsible for this goes broke and somehow screws up, or a bigger fish comes in and eats him, like as long as whoever or whatever is doing this has the ability to keep doing it, Bitcoin is going to struggle to get out of the bear market.
Yeah, if it's prone to manipulation, and that's a difficult point because we never have evidence of manipulation. So give me 1 minute. Let me put it to you like this: when price is ranging, I guess there is more opportunity for manipulation because it's kind of like the market is scared to go above there and it's scared to go below there. So anybody who is thinking that I'm now going to play with this market, this playground, I've got more money than most people, so let me play, they can do it. And we find all of these wicks and we find all of these random moves. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. There might be manipulation going on. What else can we say? I mean, the obvious question then uh, is the manipulator king of the castle, or will that manipulator also get played by another bigger manipulator, as you say, a bigger fish?
Right.
Is it going to come and eat them?
Yeah, it has to happen that way, right? And here's one more conspiracy theory I need to squash. Someone in the chat wrote, it's a suppression of the price of Bitcoin. No, it's not. It's not a suppression of the price of Bitcoin. It's like for whoever is doing this, you can see the moves up and down, up and down. Whoever is doing this couldn't care less if they're moving the price of Bitcoin up or down. They just want to make money on moving the price. This is not some coordinated effort to keep the price of Bitcoin down. This is, hey, I can make money. They don't care. Like you can no one seems to blame manipulation when the asset they're holding is going up. It's always works against you, right?
Yeah, I mean, if the price is ranging, the manipulator can play. It's like they've got a captive audience, right? Um, if we're going to talk about somebody keeping the price of Bitcoin down, well, how long will they succeed in that futile game? Because we know that Bitcoin is a race to 1 million, not a race to zero. It's not like we know it's eventually going to fail. This is not the consensus belief or the objective reality. We know that eventually it will outperform most asset classes, all asset classes. So what would somebody benefit from suppressing the price, other than manipulation in a range? It's as much as I can say. God, I wish I really knew the truth, but logically, that seems to be the only conclusion. It's manipulation in a range, not a long-term coordinated attempt to keep Bitcoin down so that it doesn't solve all the problems of the world, right?
Right. And I just wanted to take a look at how the altcoins have done in the last 24 hours.
Let's look. I'm interested.
And I know CoinMarketCap is terrible, but it's just the simplest one.
Yeah,
There's
let's look
also,
there.
I think there's also CoinMarketBook. I should probably glance at that one. Hold on. CoinMarketBook.
Let's look at CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum. Bitcoin Cash is still holding on, huh?
Yeah, they're still on. But I'm looking at this percent move in 24 hours, right? So in the last 24 hours, once again, everything is crashing, right? So, and this bothers me so much. You're like, you have to diversify your Bitcoin across Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, really? This is what your
Okay.
diversification is doing. Like, come on.
You know, Tone, you know, if somebody's got a technical analysis capacity, right, they never talk to you about diversification because to say in the traditional sort of sense that you've got to have something in the mining stocks and you've got to have something in gold and you've got to have part of your portfolio in the banking sector and you've got to have part in the manufacturing sector. It doesn't make sense because it depends what that sector's collective chart is doing in terms of its trend, right? So why, if Bitcoin is in an ever expanding trend to the upside, not the downside, why would you talk about diversifying Bitcoin? Yeah, it's ludicrous.
Hold on. I'm looking at the wrong chart.
You couldn't diversify Bitcoin, the strongest mover in the history of charts in the world. How are you going to diversify out of that is because you think Bitcoin is going to go to zero, man. If Bitcoin is going to go to zero, you need to put a very strong argument for that. I've never heard the argument. Big blockers make it, but you know, big blockers talk from their backside. Yeah.
Right. So what people don't realize about a lot of these shit coins, right, is that is RSK is an exception because they're a side chain on Bitcoin. But you have to realize that you may want to take a look at things by total supply, not by circulating supply. You have to understand that Stellar has over 100 billion Stellar coins. And I think almost all of them are owned by a man named Jeb McCaleb, who's probably the biggest scammer in the space.
Sure.
And there's nothing stopping Stellar from creating another 100 billion coins. Same thing with Ripple, right? There is nothing stopping Ripple. They have 99 billion. They have pretty much 100 billion coins as well. I mean, this is because Stellar is just a copy of Ripple, and there's nothing stopping Ripple from creating another 100 billion coins for themselves. Like, there's nothing there. Like, there's no code that prevents them from doing this. They can just do it. I mean, it's a centralized piece of code, and you have to look at this stuff by total supply. And by total supply, Bitcoin is not even number one. It's some kind of Fion coin. Currently, the price of one Fion coin is $1,000. I don't know what kind of liquidity it's getting. Probably not very much. And this is kind of how you want to look at this stuff, because you want to know how much of that coin is being held by its creator, who can easily sell that coin anytime they like. Now, obviously, if they try to sell a million of these coins with no liquidity, they're not going to go very far. But they can sell $1,000 worth of this coin every day, and basically you're feeding some guy $1,000 a day for doing nothing, for copying a piece of code and launching it. And that's how all of these are. This is why Platin Coin is number 7, and Solar Coin's number 8, and God knows what else, right? On God knows what Ontology is, but there they are, right? I mean, here's a coin that's worth 60 cents. Some idiots are buying it. Some idiots are pumping it. And some guy that has probably, that's a billion coins. Some guy is sitting on 700,000 of these coins at 60. Yeah, it's a billion coins. So some guy is sitting on 700 million of these coins at 60 cents a piece, and he can sell, $1,000 a day of that coin.
Yeah. A subscriber showed me the chart. I don't know where it came from. It's in TradingView. I think Binance was the source of the chart. The Tron longs chart, and it's only ever gone up since the beginning of Tron, meaning that whoever is pumping Tron makes sure that they keep feeding it Bitcoin. They keep buying their own coin as it gets produced. Or maybe it was all produced in one batch. I don't know, but they keep buying it. And one day they're going to step aside and let go of their support. They're going to stop their support and it's going to drop through the floor. Whoever holds Tron logically will get a big shock. If you bought at 0.0, if you bought at 1 Satoshi, yes, you'll be okay. But if you bought at anywhere halfway through that process, you're going to get a shock. And this is inevitable. This is the day we're waiting for. All of these coin market cap charts are going to go red. Probably Bitcoin will also be red on the day, but we know that Bitcoin is the strongest and the longest, right? It's not gonna suddenly disappear because it went to 0 or close to 0.
Yeah. Hey, Venzen, before we get going, what are your thoughts on traditional markets? Do you still pay attention to the S&P?
I do, especially since you and Tyler started, and this latest sort of sudden bear market started last year. Because, as you know, I have to believe Martin Armstrong in terms of his first-hand perspective, being a consultant to the central banks. He's not apologetic in terms of the central banks. He reports what he finds with them. They pay him money. He tells them, guys, there's no such thing as the big short in the markets. It's selling. It's not somebody deciding to short. He understands that he reports that the central banks are also clueless about market direction and market dynamics. Yet they're in a struggle to survive. Does the central bank determine the direction of the traditional market, the stock market? I don't think so. I think that there is a general trend in society to look for yield, whether it's a pension fund or a municipal bond or whoever, somebody is looking for yield. And whether they're in Europe or Asia or in the US, they go to where the yield is most apparent. Therefore, when there is a sudden sell-off in the stock market, we ask why? Why is this thing going down? Either because people are taking profit seasonally, or because there is a lack of confidence. But eventually, and this is why I mentioned Martin Armstrong, he makes the point that eventually everyone must return to where there's most value. He's not a big Bitcoin fan, so I'm not pushing that part of his analysis. He needs to understand certain things about consensus and decentralization. That's another issue. He is correct, and I think you and I agree on this point that certain big money, large players in the market need to go to where the value is. And right now, it's not in Europe in a banking sector that can sink. It's not in Asia. It's not in South America. It's not in Africa. It's not in the BRICS. It's not in the emerging economies. The value is in the US. And the US stock market, those companies that represent the US stock market in the Dow, in the S&P 500, in the NASDAQ, they are cash rich. They don't have issues with their fundamentals. Therefore, that is the best place, the safest place for traditional money, large players to put their money. Also, the US dollar, it keeps increasing in value. Am I making sense? Am I speaking the truth, Tone?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, but I'm curious on what's your outlook for the S&P 500 till the end of the year. And
I didn't say that. Towards the end of 2019, man.
It's a trick question because I can't answer it for another week or two.
You know what? I'm just gonna stick my neck out, and I did some analysis on that chart, and I drew some fibs, and I had the moving averages, and it seems like the Dow and the Nasdaq and the S&P are gonna make phenomenal highs this year and next year. No, never mind 2019, 2020, maybe more. I'm not guaranteeing that to anyone, but it's like it's on a roll, man. It's on a roll. It pulled back to push higher. It hasn't pulled back to crash. It's pulled back to push higher. That was a correction we just saw.
Hey, have you seen my long-term chart, like the low 100-year Dow chart?
I've not actually. Maybe I saw it and I don't recall. Tell me about it.
Can you see it on your screen right now?
Now I see it. 1929 peak on the left. Yeah, you see, we need to complete. I'm not gonna sort of bore everyone with Elliott wave because it's always in hindsight, not foresight. I'm just gonna say that what we're seeing is just a continuing bear market. There's no technical reason to say this is in the start of a bear market. All we see is a continuing bull market. Look at it. That upper trend line is a target. It can be exceeded. There's no reason to believe that we're heading for the bottom of the trend line. Even if we do, that's not going to make a new low since 2008.
All right. Yeah. So good to hear that you're also bullish on the S&P. And your thoughts on gold, if you've paid attention, for the last 3 weeks, I've been saying gold. I mean, that was going out on a limb, kind of. I mean, this trend line kept being broken every single week. And I kept saying, it's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. And it's not. It looks like it's not doing it. Views on long-term gold?
Tone, briefly, I can say a lot about gold, but just briefly, having grown up in South Africa, and I was a little boy on the farm, and you go down to the river and you find some flecks of gold, it was just there. It was lying around. As a boy, you don't think about that. It's just your granny tells you, oh, it's gold. And I was a big gold bug in the day, back in the 2000s. I understand that Bitcoin has come to replace gold fundamentally and by design, by feature. Yet there is a lot of residual belief in gold. And I believe that this residual belief in gold, this perceived value of gold can still push it higher. Technically, what we're looking at, it's a 1 month chart, right? I'm trying to see. Yeah,
It's a weekly chart.
It's a 1 week chart. What we see in the 1 week chart since the 2011 high, that is not there's no evidence that gold is going higher at all until it conquers that trend line exactly where you drew it. Number one. Number two, it can make a new high above the sort of corrective highs it's made since 2016. Yeah, there's no reason to believe it's going higher. That's my thought. Not with Bitcoin around. No.
All right. Anything else you want to say? I think we're ready to wrap it up. I do want to promote the conference and let people know that as of tomorrow, we are no longer offering refunds. We will offer credit to other tone-based things, but we can't offer refunds anymore because the money is being used. I mean, it's not a profitable conference, and the money has been used to put the conference on. So we can offer credit. But we will not be able to offer any refunds as of tomorrow. That policy ends. So just keep in mind for those that are saying they can't make it anymore and want a refund next time, this will be, even more clear in the email things because we're people register, we allocate space for X number of people, and then people say they're not going to make it and they want their money back. So you'll be given credit to future events.
Good luck with this conference, Tone. I cannot attend because it's in the US, and the US wants to put a probe in my ass, when if I want to come there, and I'm not prepared for that. I'm so cypherpunk by this stage that I cannot do that. Can I ask you a personal question? One of my not personal, a trader's question. One of my subscribers asked earlier today. He's wondering what Tone did with his trade on the GDAX. What's your position in terms of that with the outlook currently?
What do you mean on the G? I don't know what the GDAX is.
Just a minute. Please give me a minute. Let me establish the exact question. The question was about your trade on the Bitcoin sort of ETF there.
Oh, GBTC. Yeah.
Yeah. What you doing about that? Because it is a puzzle. What does one do now? It looks like it's ranging and not going higher. Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing, right? So I entered my GBTC trade around this area here, right? So I entered it. I entered it like I had a bad fill because I was busy and I didn't get in. I was supposed to get in even cheaper, right? But you see the gray line? The gray line is the GBTC premium. And you can see that the GBTC premium right now is at almost at 20%. So I got into GBTC, even though I got into GBTC at a higher price of like $5, and right now it's $4.30. I got in when that GBTC premium was very, very low. And I think that there's going to come a time soon where the GBTC premium is going to spike again. So to me, Bitcoin was low enough because remember, this is GBTC is more of a retirement play. And I really wish if I wasn't doing these videos and I wasn't traveling, I would be trading GBTC daily because you can take such advantage of this. You see right here, this is a GBTC premium of over 20%. This is a GBTC premium of like 1%. So basically, in a matter of a week, you can make 20% on a trade with the price of Bitcoin not moving.
Are you doing that by physically selling GBTC or by trading its direction as a contract?
No, I'm physically buying and selling GBTC. Okay,
Yeah.
which I'm not actually doing because I don't have the time.
Right.
So again, it's amazing how many people are out there saying if Tone knew what he was doing, he would be trading. If I was trading, I wouldn't be doing videos. Like you don't really,
Exactly.
you don't do both. Like
You
that's
can't.
the
You
thing.
can't. Yeah.
Like you will get what you wish for one day when I'm tired of the public life and I just want to go away and start trading again like Venzen did for a few years.
Tone, I miss trades when I do videos. I do videos with clients. They want to consult with me. They pay for the time. I got to do it. And whenever I do a video, something happens in price because I'm not watching it and it moves. Otherwise, I'm sitting on my backside 12, 18 hours a day, either protecting a trade or looking for an opportunity. If I choose a 12-hour day, some signal is going to wake me up at 3 in the morning and say there's a crossover, do something, and I got to look, because that's my job. That's how I pay the rent. That's how I make my income. Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
We'll speak more about this when we meet. Great to see you. Thanks for inviting me, and good luck with the conference. Really.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and the next we're gonna do some things over. There's a chance I might do something in Malta, which isn't. It's a slightly smaller probe, but still a probe for you to go from Asia to Europe. But the next one we do will probably be in Asia, and that would be a lot better for you. But yeah, so the GBTC, I have whole videos on GBTC. So your client may want to just Google my name on YouTube with the letters GBTC, and then we talk a lot about this premium. This is a very illiquid asset. And again, this is the kind of thing I shouldn't talk about because there's so much money to be made here by being smarter than the average trader of GBTC. And I know I'm like in that 92, 99 percentile of trading GBTC. And the more I talk about it publicly, the less I normalize that advantage. But if I don't really have much time to trade it, so yes, my GBTC is currently in a losing position, but my position was entered in such a way that I'm willing to wait up to 6 months, up to a year. Yes, I will lose 2% by holding it a year because of Barry Silbert taking 2% every year on management fees, but that's not the end of the world. And considering you can have a swing in the premium of 20% in a matter of a week, there's lots of advantages that could be done. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get crushed. You're going to lose that 20% instead of making that 20% on Bitcoin price not moving. So you really do need to know what you're doing. And that's why, you got to take the time and research and understand. But that's pretty much the idea of it. The conference is pretty much in less than a week. I am off to Vegas tomorrow. Here is the agenda we are working with. And it's not going to be big. It's going to be probably maybe 200 people in the room. That fits about 300. We did a good job, keeping our costs low to make sure, this conference doesn't make me broke. And, it's cheap to attend at 0.1 Bitcoin, only about $350 to attend the conference in USD terms. It's at the D Hotel. The after party is going to be at the Downtown Grand, which is about a 5-minute walk away. And the poker game is all sold out. And the carnivory dinner is all sold out. Sorry, guys. Got to jump on those early. Jimmy and I will announce a carnivory dinner in London. I spent about 4 hours yesterday. I'll send you the video, Venzen. So 4 hours yesterday was spent preparing all of these people for the workshop. I decided to stop teaching basic TA in person. I'm tired of teaching what is a candlestick in person. I did that online yesterday. We went through candlesticks, moving averages, prior highs and lows, trend lines.
RSI, MACD, yeah.
Yeah, the MACD, the RSI, the triangles. So we did all that yesterday for about 4 hours online, and this way I don't have to do that in person. And these workshops now begin with TD sequential and more money. I mean, there's so much there. You got to start teaching money management. You got to start teaching portfolio balance, because you know what I've noticed? I don't know if you've noticed this as well. A lot of people, well, probably not in your world, but in my world, everyone comes to these workshops out of the crypto space. And you'd be amazed how many of my workshop graduates stop trading crypto and start trading traditional markets, because they realize once trading becomes your job, it becomes dangerous for you to have that money on an exchange that can lose it.
Yeah, that is one thing. The other thing is people, once I deal with a lot of people who are already advanced, so they understand RSI, MACD, whatever, and then when you show them the method, the method that I teach about moving averages, they come back to you and say, but this is perfect for the traditional markets. It's like it's easier for them to transfer money to Owanda or international brokers and do the trades than to deal with all of this nonsense and manipulation in the Bitcoin space. As you say, I might actually take over from you if you're tired of teaching candlesticks and basic indicators. I've been asked many times, please explain these basics. We'll discuss it. You and I'll discuss it, whether it's worth my while to do that.
Yeah, all right. I do need to get going. I actually gotta pack up. I gotta go to a different part of Phoenix and then fly out in the morning. So I do have to get going. Hey guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're gonna check the Bitcoin price once again to make sure it hasn't crashed while we were on the video.
It's just hovering, yeah, but it's going down. It's going down.
And yeah, so Venzen and I are both not very optimistic. We are both bears right now. Yeah, so it's just not looking good. And again, people still believe in these altcoins too much. And as long as that keeps happening, it's hard for me to admit the bear market is close to ending. We're going to end it here. I'm going to stop the video. Hey, thanks for joining me, Venzen. I do value your opinion. I will see you in probably less than a month at this point over in Thailand, because I'll be coming through Thailand. Oh, the reason I'm coming through Thailand, sorry, one last screen share.
Yeah. Share that.
For the few people that are still with us, which is still over 1,000 people. Wow. And which screen share am I doing? Right. So here, so the reason why I'm going to Thailand is because I am going to speak at this event. It's called Traders Fair, and it's a conference about trading. What's going on?
I'll be attending it, by the way, because for various reasons I need to be in Bangkok at that time. We did discuss it and I said I'm not sure. I will see you there as well. I will see you there as well. Not sure why it's not loading. Yeah, that's the one.
There we go. So I will be speaking at Traders Fair. It's the Thailand one. This one here, if it goes well, I'll see if they want me to speak at their Egypt one. And it's basically a conference. I don't know any of these people, but it's I'm on there. There I am with the hair. So I don't know any of these people, but it's a conference for traders. So all of these people are supposed to be traders, owner of Forex Trader Profits, CEO of FX Elite, and most of these are FX traders. The guru trader, like, again, I don't know these guys, but I attended a conference and they were there, and I spoke to the organizers of it. There's an eToro guy. So I'm looking forward to this. This will be my first time speaking at Traders Fair, and it's a conference um, basically for people that want to learn how to trade. And these are all traders educating people at that conference on trading and their styles. Like I said, this is new to me, and I'm finding it very, very interesting. And I want to see how it goes. I want to meet some of these people, and we'll see how it goes, right? Really, really interested in it, and I'll be one of these speakers. And they have events mostly all over Asia. They're starting to branch out, so it'll be great. So if you are in Asia and you're interested in coming to this event, come down. I'm gonna want to sit in on as many presentations as I can, because I'm curious what these guys have to say. I'm curious what their trading style is. I'm curious what they're teaching. So I'm gonna find it pretty interesting, and I know Venzen's gonna come. He'll be there with me.
Sure. Sure. I also don't know them, but I want to learn. I want to know the environment I'm in. I'll be there.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So check it out. I actually don't know how much this costs to attend, but hey, check out the website, Traders Fair, and they're doing a lot of these. This will be my first one, and then I'll see how it goes if I'm available for any of the other ones. Hey, look, they're going to come to South Africa, Venzen, in 2019.
All right. All right. You're also going there? Do you know if you're going there?
I don't know, man. To be honest, like my travel schedule for the year is almost complete. So I will go. I'll be in Asia again around October, like I usually am. So Singapore in October is very possible. Egypt in March is possible because I'll still be in Europe in March. But Malaysia and the Philippines, this is very unlikely. I'm in the US at that time. Brazil in August, probably unlikely. And India in September is actually possible because I'm back in Europe.
Yeah.
So Vietnam in November, I'm probably going to be in Australia again in November. So Vietnam isn't, I want to say it's not that far, but it's actually far as hell. Australia is really in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, so we'll see. Let's see how this goes. You know, I don't want to, maybe they're not going to want me back. Maybe I'm just going to call everybody a scammer. You know, who knows what's going to happen, right? Like, but no, but I like these guys. It's going to be great. It'll be a lot of fun.
Great.
All right. But yeah, and I'm also in Paris and London. Like, man, I really gotta start packing. But here, I will be. Oh, and this one is. Why isn't anything loading? So I will be at the Paris Blockchain Summit the week after my conference, and then the week after that, I'll be somewhere, and the week after that, I'll be in London. I'll be at this conference. So these are my next 3 events, and then there's more after that. So it's the Paris Blockchain Summit, the Advancing Bitcoin Conference in London, and then from there, I'm off to Thailand. All right, guys. They're not loading. They don't want to load. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I will cut the camera feed. Hey, thanks again for joining. I got to get to packing, and I will talk to you all on the next one. Thank you, Venzen, again for hanging out.
Thanks for having me.